Welcome to the Cutting Edge Convention, a worldwide movement to revolutionize your life. No more stumbling around in the dark, wasting precious weeks, months, and years trying to figure it out on your own. Get ready for valuable innovations and strategies. And now, here's your host, Marcy Peters, the Age Backward Mentor.
I'm Marcy Peters, America's Whole Life Coach and the Age Backward Mentor. I help smart, successful people love and adore their lives and their bodies. And today we have someone really interesting and a technology that isn't really being talked about. And so this is a great opportunity for us to bring this into your awareness and let you know about something that can revolutionize and innovate your life and your health. So let me tell you about our guest before we dive into the topic. So our guest today is Dr. Anne-Marie Fine. She's an internationally recognized doctor, award-winning researcher, best-selling author, and founder and CEO of Fine Natural Products. And I Am Fine, which seeks to create innovative and sustainable healthcare solutions and non-toxic personal healthcare products. She serves as the Director in Education for the Naturopathic Academy of Environmental Medicine, Science Advisor for MadeSafe.org, and she's a regular contributor to Thrive Global and other media platforms. She lectures and consults internationally, and Dr. Fine has a doctorate in naturopathic medicine, and she's licensed and board certified in Arizona and California. Dr. Anne-Marie Fine, welcome so much.
Thank you, Marcy. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so today we have a really great topic, and we're going to touch on other topics as well, but we want to tell you about something really special. So let's dive right in, and then Dr. Fine, I want you also, if you want to add in information about yourself as we go, talk about some of the patients that you've had and so forth, feel free to do that. But I want to tell everyone about this frequency-specific microcurrent. It's kind of a mouthful. And so if we could just jump in and tell us about that.
Okay, great. Yeah, it is a mouthful, and that's why I think I'm just going to call it FSM for short, frequency-specific microcurrent. So frequency-specific microcurrent, it's really my secret weapon in my practice and also in my own life because of so many things that it can do for us medically and aesthetically as well. And so the way I got interested in FSM is I actually learned about it at a seminar in 2003 on fibromyalgia. And the doctor was talking about how do we work with these people with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, because as you know, Marcy, it's a large segment of the population just absolutely struggles with this, and they don't feel well and they can't get out of bed. Many times they have to give up their jobs and go on disability, or it's a painful condition psychologically as well. So, I was looking for solutions for this, and this doctor that was speaking, she had a lot of solutions, but she kept mentioning FSM, which is the one thing I had never heard of. And so I asked her afterwards what it was, and she told me about frequency-specific microcurrent. And I mean, it almost sounded like it was too good to be true. And so I asked if I could go to her clinic and just work with her for a week and just watch her use it in her practice and see how it worked for her. And she invited me to her practice for a week, and it was unbelievable what I saw with FSM in her practice. And she dealt with a lot of chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and also people who were chemically sensitive, mold-induced illness, and other environmental illnesses. And so that's when I decided, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to get trained in this. This is amazing. So that's what got me started in that. That was, over 10 years ago. And so I one of the first things I did with it for myself was I was very severely adrenally fatigued. I mean, I had gone through medical school as a mother and a wife, and I worked part-time through part of that, which was kind of crazy. And my adrenals were just like dead. And so, of course, in naturopathic medical school, we learn lots of things about how to rejuvenate your adrenals, how to do it, what you need to do with diet, what kind of botanicals are adaptogens, et cetera, et cetera. And I was doing those things, and I needed more. And so the first thing I did on myself with FSM was rejuvenate my adrenals. It was unbelievable how quickly and how well it worked to get me back to a normal life. And I really, at one point, I felt like, wow, I may have gotten through medical school, but I don't know if I'll be able to work. It was really a struggle the way I was feeling. I was, it was too much. And so anyway, it gave me my life back. And so I thought, this is perfect. I can take this into my clinic and I can really help people with this. So that's how I got started with it. And then since that time, my goodness, I've used it for adrenal fatigue. It's great. I've used it for irritable bowel. I've used it for fibroids. I've used it to help detoxify the body. It's really superb for inflammation, which means it's really good for myofascial pain, just chronic old injuries, new injuries. The athletes have discovered FSM, and they're using it to heal because they get paid so much money that when they're injured, they have to get back to the field or the courts, or they're in trouble. So it really greatly speeds healing. So that's one of the it's my potent secret weapon in my practice right now. Yeah.
Love it. So I know you have your unit right there. Could you show the audience what it
Yes.
looks like?
Yeah, I will.
How it works.
So this is what it looks like, and it's a box. And this one, when I first learned frequency-specific microcurrent, it was an analog unit. It weighed about 30 pounds. It was huge. And it was analog. You had to sit there, and every frequency you did, you had to there's 2 channels. You had to change them on both sides, and you had to run your little timer because you only wanted to do a minute or 2 on each frequency. And then with time came the portable units, which is what we have right here. So there's 10 programs available, and they are FDA-approved medical devices, and so you do have to get a prescription from a doctor that's been trained in this and who has the ability to program it. So, yeah, of course, that's me. But once you have one programmed and prescribed for you, you take it home, and you can just do it in the privacy of your own home. And so it's very convenient. I used to, when I first started using this, in my practice, I had to have people come to my office 2 or 3 times a week for 45 minutes at a time to get a treatment. And so the ability to program 10 different programs, which usually can cover people's medical issues that they're concerned about, and then have them take it home to do it on their own schedule, in their own bed, and then they can read a book or watch TV or just relax. It's revolutionized people's lives, and it's given them their lives better back.
That's amazing. Yeah. So kind of like, with acupuncture, chiropractic, you're having to go in for every session and be present. So this is so much more convenient. Now, are patients purchasing the unit? Are they borrowing it once they have the prescription?
So patients, they typically, and this is another interesting thing, since I've been doing this for so long, I also train other physicians on how to use it. And people find me, and they will fly in from all over the United States just to get one of these units from me, and then they take it home. So they do purchase them. I have, on occasion, if someone is more local, I have rented a unit so they can see how it is. And in 100% of the cases, they purchase the unit. So it's, it works pretty well. But some people do feel like they want to try it before they make the investment. But it's like a doctor in the box, and it's like having a doctor in the box. Once you've been evaluated by a doctor and someone's programmed it specifically for you, because you program it specifically for the person in front of you based on, weight and fitness level and medical parameters, then it's something that you can access on your own at home. And it's fabulous.
Okay, so could you tell us, Dr. Fine, about a couple of instances, maybe your most dramatic instances, where your patients have experienced breakthroughs with this?
Yes. Okay. Let me think. Okay. I had a young man who broke his hip snowboarding and came to see me on crutches, on pain pills. And his doctor had said it would be, I think, 4 to 6 weeks before he would even be able to, move around normally, and maybe a couple months before he could go back snowboarding. And I started working on him with the microcurrent. He never, after the first session, he never needed the crutches again. He never needed another pain pill. It's very good with pain, by the way. I did emphasize that, but you know how many people are in pain? The number one reason people see doctors is pain.
Yeah.
And that young man was snowboarding in 2 weeks instead of months. He was snowboarding again. So that's pretty dramatic, and in that case, I was rebuilding bone. I was using microcurrent to rebuild bone, and years ago, way before this was ever designed, I think around the turn of the century, they had electrical devices that were used specifically for knitting together broken bones. So this is a known thing in the literature that you can use microcurrent to knit together bones. So anyway, I use it in that fashion for him. And so I have women who have, broken their hips, or they've had hip replacement surgery or knee replacement surgery. And what happens is you greatly accelerate your healing so that you decrease the pain, you decrease the swelling, and you're able to get back to your daily activities of living. And then I had another gentleman, an older gentleman, who had pain in his feet, and he had been taking some medication for it, and it really got to the point where he could no longer walk or do exercise. So he's confined to a couch, which doesn't make anybody feel good. If your feet hurt and you can't move the rest of your body, you don't feel good. And so and he was skeptical, and I talked to him about the microcurrent, and he got one, and I programmed it for him, and within 2 weeks, he had stopped all pain meds and was walking outside, and then with time was able to get back to the gym and do things. And so, that was that gave him his life back, because that was it's difficult when you don't feel well. And, your health is your wealth, as you know, Marcy. Your health is your wealth. And sometimes people don't realize until they lose it how special it is to feel good and be able to have your life and be able to reach out to other people and transform their life.
Yeah, definitely life-changing.
Yeah.
So it works on really serious cases. And then also, we talked about earlier, it also helps with facial rejuvenation in terms of skin and wrinkles, right?
Yeah, it does. And so that's an application that I designed into my my recent book, Cracking the Beauty Code, the I Am Fine protocol for facial rejuvenation. It's like a non-surgical facelift. And the way that I've designed it is that it runs through several frequencies that work on your skin to actually decrease inflammation. And inflammation is one of the instigators of the wrinkle cascade. It's inflammation in your skin. And I have a really great chart that shows that in my book. It shows you exactly why and how your skin ages and what to do about it. So anyway, so it works on inflammation, and it works on healing skin. It works on detoxing skin, and then you can actually build collagen with this program. And so there's a frequency for that. And so I program it for that as well. And so in terms of facial rejuvenation, it's just really something that you can do at home. And you do have to do it consistently. So it's not, you can't just do it, once or twice a year. You have to do it on a fairly regular basis. But it's something that works on your skin, and it changes the way that your skin ages. And I can't say that it will freeze your face in time, but it does change the way that your face ages and makes you, right after you do it, you can see the difference in what your face looks like. So it's very popular.
On yourself, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
have amazing skin.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Very smooth, and so what has been your experience personally?
Yeah, my experience is that I started using it when in like 2003 or 4, and what I noticed then is that I was younger then, and so I was just kind of doing it because I could, right? I had it at home and I had it programmed, and I wasn't really quite sure what to do with it. But since that time, other of my colleagues who have known me for many, many years have just said, "You're not aging at the same rate as the rest of us. You're not." And I don't do Botox or fillers or things along those lines. And so I attribute it to, well, my diet and lifestyle too, but also the FSM, because I am on a regular basis, I am putting in frequencies that decrease inflammation and build collagen and, just create better looking skin.
And how often do you recommend using it?
I recommend it for facial rejuvenation twice a week.
And I did see a before and after picture of one of your patients, and I'm going to post that up here so everyone can see. And it's amazing, the before and after, the difference. It's hard to show that type of improvement in a hip or, walking or, something else, but definitely with skin, it can be very visible. So, okay, so is there anything else about the FSM? I also want to touch on some of the other things that you do with your patients, but is there anything that we haven't covered with that?
Let's see. No, I think we did cover it, but I think it's there's so many things you can do with it that sometimes a mom or a dad will come in and get it for themselves, and then before you know it, their spouse will be on it. Before you know it, they want to know, can they use it on their kids? And before you know it, they have to get another unit because everyone's fighting over the FSM box. And so it's something that ideally, everyone would have one in their home. And then when you sprain your ankle, which, we're always having mishaps, right? And what I do, one of the things that I didn't mention, and I'll just tell you this, is like when I know this is going to make me sound really clumsy, but if I drop something really heavy on my toe and I'm worried about crushing it or having it swell up and I'm not being able to walk or something, I just put the microcurrent on it, and it takes care of swelling and pain, and it starts healing those tissues. It's actually healing tissues. It's not like a TENS unit just decreasing your brain's perception of pain. It's actually working on the nerve itself, which is decreasing the actual pain. And then the other frequencies are healing the tissue. So it's just very nice to have something that you have such immediate access to in case of a terrible, you stub your toe, you sprain your ankle, you hit your head, whatever.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It's like a superpower in your back pocket.
Exactly.
So I think the question on everyone's mind, at least on my mind, is how much is the unit?
The unit is $39.50, and that includes the initial consultation with me and the gloves and the programming and then a follow-up visit to make sure that it's going well and everything is together.
Okay. And then the 10 different programs you can set are just according to whatever's going on for that person, whatever they're specifically dealing with, whether it's pain.
Right, right. And that's why there has to be an initial consultation, because I have to do an assessment and figure out what would the 10 programs be, what would be best. And then I also have to get an idea of the person that is having the unit and their body type, and how there's so many different parameters that you can program in addition to the frequencies that have to do with other things. So you have to get a good idea of what you're dealing with.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. It needs to be customized to the person.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so frequency-specific microcurrent, an amazing new wave of the future. And let's talk about some other supplemental things. I mean, I often say you can't exercise off a poor diet, and you can't supplement off a poor diet. So let's just briefly touch on some of the other basics, because you're not going to just use this machine and have that take care of absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because you bring up an excellent point. And I didn't mention this, but the FSM is as good as it is. I never recommend it as a standalone product, because you're right. You have to have the foundations right before you add in something like this. And then you get the amazing transformational potential. But you still have to have the diet. You're right. You cannot just throw one little thing and it's like, whoo, I don't exercise and I eat Skittles all day, but I'm good. I've got my microcurrent. So that's that was a good thought. So you have to have the right things. And in terms of, this is what I talk about in my recent book. There's I call it 6 critical concepts for aging well, and so it runs the full gamut. It's not just any one thing. But the main theme is that no longer, and the whole world is moving in this direction, no longer is it, what can I put on my face? What can I inject in my face to look good? What can I subject my face to procedure-wise to look good? It's really, beauty has gone holistic, and it's really, we're all getting more on the beauty from the inside out page. And beauty and wellness are now becoming intertwined. And Marcy, I know you love that, because I know that's what you're all about too.
It's so true.
And but I'm right, because as you know, even 2 years ago, it was all about, didn't matter what you eat or exercise or what your thoughts were in your head. You just slap on the right anti-aging cream and you're good to go. No. I mean, there's been all kinds of research in this, and what you and I believe about holistic beauty is being borne out in the research. And so this is a very exciting time to be able to talk about these things.
Yes. It is so important what you put into your body. And that includes not just the food, but the thoughts that you're thinking and the beliefs and the choices and everything comes together. And it all creates your picture of health together.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So just briefly, what do you like to recommend to your patients? Just maybe a brief overview. And then, of course, we're going to direct everyone to your book to get the full picture.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's so important that I think was overlooked in the past is really the importance of emotional well-being on beauty. And one of the major cosmetic companies just did a study, and they found out that the women who looked 10 years younger, the one thing they were doing differently is they thought more positively about themselves. This is a major beauty company. So, and they sell products. So I'm sure they were thinking to themselves, that didn't go exactly how we thought, right?
Yeah, how do we make money off of that idea?
I know. And so to me, it was like, yeah. So the women who think positively about themselves. So I think emotional well-being has to be addressed, because some of the studies I looked at, they looked at twins. So twins are genetically identical, if they're identical twins. And the twins who had histories of depression, looked a lot older than the twins or the other twin that maybe didn't have the depression. And so emotional well-being and stress, and there's so many studies now that actually show that stress damages your skin. And something else, one of the studies that I talked about in my book, which I think is hilarious, it's humor. Humor actually is good for your skin. They did a study showing funny movies to these elderly patients with a skin condition. And it's like, and then the control group was watching the Weather Channel, which I think is funny. But anyway, the ones who laughed at the funny movies, their skin got better, and the ones who watched the weather movie didn't. And not only that, laughter made testosterone go up as well, which I think is an interesting effect. So emotional well-being, I mean, I think people more and more are understanding that it is truly a holistic look at everything that's going on, but emotional well-being is big. And as women, we're so busy, but it's so important for we women to take the time out to do things for ourselves and to nourish ourselves and to get our emotional well-being and groundedness to address all of those things, because this is really how we're going to feel beautiful and confident in our own bodies.
Yeah, happy people are attractive people is basically, what you're saying and what the study came up with. And it's easy to try and reverse that and say, well, if I was attractive or if I was thin or, these types of things, then I would be happy. And the key is, I call it the happiness trap, is to swap the two and say, I'm going to choose to be happy now because happiness is a choice.
Yes.
And in the process of being happy, it's easier to take care of yourself, and then you lose weight, and then you're more, you're feeling better about yourself. You're smiling more. That makes you more attractive. Something as simple as a smile and laughing. So yeah, absolutely. It's a 360 approach. And I love that you brought up emotional well-being. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. I want you to tell us a little bit about your book and where everyone can find you, so that they can also look into perhaps seeing you or finding more about the frequency-specific microcurrent.
Okay. Yeah, my book is called Cracking the Beauty Code, How to Program Your DNA for Health, Vitality, and Younger Looking Skin. And you can find it on Amazon. It is currently in pre-release. And then my website it's drannmariefine.com. So that's DRANNEMARIEFINE.com. And that's a good place to find my skincare products. I have a line of products called I Am Fine. And they're really better for women over 35 years old because they're very, very deeply hydrating, and they're made with organic seed oil. And then also on my website, there's a lot of articles that are going to give you information about clean products. And on my website, there are articles that I've written that talk about natural beauty and beauty from the inside out. And also, I have a strong emphasis as a doctor focused on environmental medicine. I have a strong interest in talking about clean beauty and personal care products, because we're going to use the products anyway. You want to make sure that they're non-toxic so that you're not just adding to your body burden. That's not going to help you at all. And so also on my website, I have a class, an online digital class called The Beauty Bluff, and that really teaches you and empowers you to read a label and to really understand how to get the non-toxic products. So there's a lot of information on my website too.
Okay, good. Excellent. So I'm going to have links for everyone below. You can just click those links and take a look, purchase the book in pre-release, and so that you can get a copy. Thank you so much, Dr. Anne-Marie, for being here today and sharing this information. It's so valuable for everyone to realize that there are technologies that can speed up your healing, as well as things you can be doing on the other side of it, which is the nutrition and the emotional well-being and some of the other things that we talked about today.
Yes.
Hi, any last words for our audience?
Yes, I would leave you with this idea, and this is the idea that I just have embraced and I love so much. We're coming into an era where we're learning that we're empowering ourselves to take control of our health and our aging process through epigenetics, turning genes on and off. And we have this ability, and we're now finding the science to support it, and it's literally going to change our lives.
Hmm. I love the idea of epigenetics. It basically means that you're not subject to just the genetics that you were born with. You have those genetics, but like you said, you can turn them on or off. And just because you have a predisposition for a certain thing, like a heart condition in your family, does not mean that that needs to be your destiny or your fate.
Yes, genes are not your destiny. Yes. It's so exciting. So many people are tripped up by the fact that, oh, cancer runs in my family or heart disease. It's disempowering to have those thoughts,
Yeah.
completely disempowering. And so this is just, I feel like we're over the lip. We're on the verge of getting this great information out that we really are in control of our own destiny. We still have the genes, and if they're bad, we have to counteract that in the way that we eat and think and breathe and everything like that. But we're learning that we're more in control than we ever thought, and that's empowering.
Yes, you are never a lost cause, no matter what your genetics are, no matter what your age is currently.
Right.
There's always hope and there's always possibility, because with every moment you have an opportunity to make a different choice. And
Yes, you do.
things.
Yes.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate your insights and information. And I am wishing everyone who is watching today a very happy, healthy day. Thank you so much for joining the Cutting Edge Convention, Innovations to Revolutionize Your Life. I'm Marcy Peters, the Age Backward Mentor, and join us next time for another amazing interview. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for being part of the Cutting Edge Convention. We don't want you to miss a single valuable session. To have the entire event available to you at any time, purchase the package now before the event ends. That's when the price goes up. And watch your emails to get your next steps from Marcy.